Hey everybody, welcome to Screen Realm, it's Guillermo here. Up for review today is Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the second film focused on this DC comic superhero who, in the comics, is also known as Captain Marvel. But, you know, the Marvel MCU of it all. Anyway, this is a follow-up to, in my opinion, one of the better chapters of the incredibly bumpy screen universe that has been DC. The first film was enjoyable. It wasn't perfect, but I found it to be a charming family adventure with a nostalgic throwback tone and a good amount of heart. So, I was looking forward to this one. It's just not great. Now, my review ahead will be pointing out a number of negative things that I thought about this film, but I want to point out that I didn't absolutely loathe it, and I wasn't really left enraged by it. It's just the kind of film that's disappointingly meh. I mean, it's certainly something that you could pass the time with and just forget as soon as it's over. Zachary Levi returns in the title role, again playing the adult superhero alter ego of teenager Billy Batson, who's again played by Asher Angel. On the regular life side of things, Billy is now approaching the age of 18, and he's worried about being kicked out of his adoptive family home after he ages out of the foster system. He's also worried that he and his siblings, who also have adult superhero alter egos following the first film, are drifting apart. They're getting older, so things like college are popping up. On the superhero side of things, the Shazam elite aren't doing that great either, particularly in the public eye due to all the destruction that they leave in their wake. Superhero caused public damage. I think we've more than covered that over the last few years on screen, am I right? But there's a bigger problem at hand than their public image. You see, the daughters of the Titan Atlas have arrived on Earth looking to recoup their powers and get sweet revenge. Now, the film has a simple plot, but it's as though the writers didn't want it to be that simple. There's obsessively and needlessly laid out awkward exposition at every turn, even when it's just not earned. Characters stop to explain every plot development and emotional beat, no matter how inconsequential it is by the time we get to the end of the CGI mayhem in the last act. I know kids are going to be watching this film, but you don't need to worry so much about explaining things. I mean, there's a sentient pen named Steve, so it is what it is. Shazam! Fury of the Gods wants to focus on the superheroes versus baddies strand of its narrative, which is understandable because that's the crux of the plot after all, but when the tropes are heavy, the motivation lackluster, the action unfortunately derivative, it becomes apparent that more care needed to go into other areas of the story, namely the elements of family drama that gave the first film its heart, and the overall world building and character development requirements that a sequel like this needs to engage. Sadly, it doesn't really captivate on all counts. Seeing as the small potential of heartstring tugging comes from what teen Billy Batson is going through, it's a shame that we just don't spend much time with him in round 2. Most of the character screen time goes to his older alter ego this time. Now that should be fine, although Zachary Levi's hero and Asher Angel's younger Billy Batson continue to feel like pretty different people. While I thought there was less of a chasm between the two sides of the character this time around compared to the first film, I thought that Levi's relentlessly energetic, wisecracking persona here really crowds Billy's character development and emotional peaks, whatever little amount there is. The film's early nods to family, sibling, teenage drama are mostly forgotten as the film kicks in with its action around halfway through. There are some basic reminders here and there with a line or two, but as with so much here, nothing really adds up to much. I found it really hard to care about what was going on with most of these characters. In retrospect, I could see that the film was trying to add some character-driven fuel to make a final act sacrifice hit home really hard, but that doesn't really matter either, thanks to sidestepping rules that's been established in superhero movies. I will say that it was nice to see a spotlight on Billy and Freddy's friendship again, and Jack Dylan Grazer once again nails it, delivering a charming and more emotional performance as Billy's ride-or-die buddy Freddie Freeman. Grazer, I think, gives the film's best performance, which may be surprising considering the film features the likes of Helen Mirren and Jimon Honsu. Really though, I think it mostly comes down to what everyone had to work with. I mean, you've got Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as your villains. They should have more to bite down on than what feel like copy and paste antagonists that we've seen a million times before. They're not engaging or interesting, these baddies are just dull. And that's an issue that expands to the film as a whole. Honestly, I didn't expect that. You have the first film's director back at the helm, David F. Sandberg. I've enjoyed all his previous films so far, including Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. You have an array of characters, you have an established, joyful tone to revisit, and you have the potential for original epic fantasy action, scenes that involve a dragon wreaking havoc in the city of Philadelphia. Unfortunately, even the digital heavy action doesn't do much to drive excitement here, although there is a bridge sequence early on that's fairly entertaining. There's also a certain character with reality warping powers that provides a couple of neat Doctor Strange style shots. The humor, again, dull, often consisting of pop culture references that will date this film pretty quickly. And there's a scene involving Skittles that was maybe meant to be funny, but it's up there among the cringiest examples of product placements in film. And if this really wasn't a paid marketing thing, what? Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a disappointment. A generic superhero film that does little to expand on the first film, misses a lot of what made that film a standout in the DC screen world, and perhaps its biggest sin is that it had me increasingly bored as it progressed. Oh, and as if this review needed to throw more jabs, I'll mention that the film does have a few nods to the expanded DC universe, including mid and post-credit scenes. But considering what's been happening on the studio side of this cinematic universe, it's kinda sad how useless and, well, uninteresting these scenes feel. I'm giving Shazam! Fury of the Gods 2 stars out of 5. And that is my review, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Have you seen Shazam! Fury of the Gods? Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Agree with me, disagree with me, all good. And as always, be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things from Screen Realm. Catch you soon.